British workers and zero patriotism. The difference is our US deal secured the best deal for the car industry, providing certainty for the workforce at JLR. And there's more good news, Mr. Speaker, for the car industry this week, because Nissan is now building its new electric Leaf in Sunderland. That's the difference a Labour government makes.
Sir Julian Smith.
Compliment the Prime Minister on the work he's done on Ukraine and wish him well over Christmas on that topic. Mr. Speaker, pubs are at the centre of rural communities in areas such as North Yorkshire. They are under more pressure than ever before. Could I urge the Prime Minister and the Government to look again at the rates issue and to look at how to relax the transitional relief for those pubs, many of which are otherwise going to close?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is an important sector. At the heart of this challenge is the end of the temporary relief that was put in place during COVID, and that's why we put in place the transitional measures. And investing £500,000 into a hospitality support scheme to help rural pubs diversify. On issues like the cost of living, we've taken a number of measures to make it easier for people to go out and enjoy themselves in pubs, and we'll always look at what measures we can put in place to support pubs.
Ed Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. People across Lichfield, Burntwood and the villages will be looking forward to a very happy new year, not least because of this government's commitment to the Midland Rail Hub project, which will revolutionise rail travel across the West Midlands and further afield. We are all really eager to see a better service between Lichfield and Birmingham as soon as possible, though. So will the Prime Minister join my campaign for a more regular service on the cross-city line? And can he confirm that rail commuters will benefit from frozen fares because of this Labour government?
Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the hub means more regular services for up to 15 stations across the region. That's vital after the Lichfield to Birmingham service was slashed under the previous government. The construction will create around 13,000 jobs, and we're delivering them as quickly as possible with Network Rail awarding design contracts this week. Mr. Speaker, we're also freezing rail fares. That's the first time that that's happened in 30 years, saving his constituents about £90 a year on the commute to Birmingham.
Andrew Snell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As the ghost of Christmas past scoops up the Prime Minister from his slumber in number 10 this year, I wonder what he will show him on Christmas Eve. Maybe it would be the devastated family farmer putting up the for sale sign on the yard, or the children hugging each other as their independent school closes, or any of the 100,000 hospitality workers who have lost their jobs, or the millions of families that are trying to work out how they will pay their tax bill to fund the ever-growing welfare state. So is it no wonder that the ghost of Christmas future has given up on this Prime Minister, and all that is left is for him to get his bag of coal from Santa and his P45 from his own MP.
Happy Christmas. I saw that the honourable member was asking the public to suggest questions for today. I actually put in a bid, Mr. Speaker. I filled it in. I assume he missed the question, I assume. I said he should ask about the 6,000 well-paid, high-skilled jobs we've secured in his constituency, building typhoons. Thanks for an £8 billion deal with Turkey. I'm disappointed that he didn't want to talk about good, well-paid jobs in his constituency secured by this Labour government.
Mr. Speaker, just days before Christmas, heartbroken Derbyshire families and staff have learnt that the Reform-led council are closing 8 care homes, including Rowthorne in Amber Valley. And that comes just days after learning that the council's cost-saving claims were entirely fabricated. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that when Reform talk about Doge, what they're actually talking about is cutting vital public services like care homes? And will he join me in urging Derbyshire County Council to think again?
Prime Minister.
Well, it is deeply concerning to hear about the closure of 8 Derbyshire care homes by the Reform-led Derbyshire Council. It will be hugely concerning to residents and to their families, while we're making £3.7 billion of extra funding available to councils to fund social care. And let me say to the member for Clacton, relaxing in the lounge, Christmas is a time for forgiveness. It's never too late to apologise to former classmates.
Nick Timothy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Labour's tax rises mean lower growth and higher unemployment, and the reason for the tax rises is government spending. The Prime Minister personally promised the country to limit spending increases to £9.5 billion a year. So what mandate did he have in his first two budgets to increase annual spending 15 times faster by £146 billion?
Wow. Minister?
Mr. Speaker, we had a mandate to change because we inherited major challenges across the country. If only he had done something to solve these problems when he was working in Downing Street. He left a complete mess.
Dale Duncan-Jones.
Mr. Speaker, over the past few weeks, I've been contacted by a number of constituents who work in the health and care sector because they are concerned about the proposed changes to the rules surrounding indefinite leave to remain. These individuals came to this country to do a job we asked them to do, and then we decided to change the rules halfway through the process. Does the Prime Minister agree that if we are to be a proud, rules-based nation, going back on our word to people who are contributing to our society and building lives here is not only just unfair, it's also profoundly un-British?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're replacing a failed settlement system with one that is fair and recognises contribution. It is right to apply more stringent controls, and we're currently consulting on the right approach. I do recognise the huge contribution of those working in our NHS and will not change the rules for those who already have settled status.
Sir John Whittingdale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Jimmy Lai is 79 and is a British citizen. He has already been in prison in Hong Kong for 5 years, simply for being a journalist. If he receives a further sentence on the 12th of January, he is likely to die in prison. Will the Prime Minister make clear that his visit to Beijing can only go ahead if Jimmy Lai is released?
Prime Minister.
I thank him for raising this really important case, and as he knows, we continually raise this with our counterparts and will continue to do so. And I condemn the conviction. Obviously, we await the sentence, but it's absolutely clear that he's been targeted by the authorities, and this is wrongful, and I call it out. It is important that we continue to engage so that we can raise this issue with those counterparts.
Sam Calling.
In September, a National Secular Society report highlighted alarming numbers of extremist religious organisations in the UK from various faith traditions, expressing hideous views about women, including promoting female genital mutilation and denying the existence of marital rape. Many of these are registered as charities and therefore eligible for various tax exemptions, as well as thousands or even millions of pounds in public money through gift aid. So will the Prime Minister, as part of the government's mission to halve violence against women and girls, support my campaign for a review of charity law and regulation so that we can make sure the UK taxpayer isn't funding extremism and hate?
Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this really important issue? The scale of violence and abuse suffered by women and girls is a national emergency, and the Violence Against Women and Girls strategy will be published tomorrow, setting out concrete steps in order to deal with this. We've already taken action to protect victims, including placing domestic abuse specialists in the first 5 999 control rooms, and we're launching a new national policing centre to coordinate police response and target these crimes. I'll make sure that ministers look specifically at the issues that he's raised.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, the Minister of State for Justice declined a meeting with the representatives of a number of hunger strikers in prison at the present time. These are all remand prisoners. They're not convicted of anything. Since then, a further prisoner, Kazam, has been taken to hospital, as have others. many people are very concerned about the regular breaches of prison conditions and prison rules in respect to these hunger strikers. Will he make arrangements for the Ministry of Justice to meet representatives of the hunger strikers to discuss these breaches of the conditions that they are experiencing at the present time?
Prime Minister.
Well, he will appreciate there are rules and procedures in place in relation to hunger strikes, and we're following those rules and procedures.
Abdissam Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. England is the only country in the world with a fully privatised and monopolised water system, and is broken. My constituents in Sheffield Central, like many across the country, continue to face burst water pipes, polluted rivers and rising bills, all while the Chief Executive of Yorkshire Water has taken 1.3 million in bonus payments to an offshore company, and that's on top of her very healthy $660,000 salary. Will the Prime Minister assure the House that the forthcoming Water White Paper will have stronger accountability and put public interest first before bosses' bonuses, and more importantly, will it consider bringing the essential public service back into House?
Prime Minister.
Yes, is the simple answer to that question. And our decisions are already holding polluters to account. Mr. Speaker, new severe fines, banning bonuses, and a record 83 criminal investigations have been launched. We've also secured over £100 billion of investment to upgrade infrastructure, to deliver better services to constituents.
Final question, David Mundell.
Mr. Speaker, on Sunday at Arlington Cemetery, I will have the honour of joining family and friends of many of the victims of the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie on the 21st of December 1988, the worst terrorist atrocity in the United Kingdom. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that, especially after all these years, those family and friends deserve both truth and justice? And will the United Kingdom Government continue to do all it can to bring about that outcome?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this? And nobody could forget the shocking scenes at Lockerbie. And I know the huge impact it's had on the community that he grew up in, where people have responded with such compassion and strength. He has rightly stood by their search for justice and truth for all of the intervening years, and I pay tribute to that. All of our thoughts remain with the families and friends of all the victims who deserve truth, and I urge the Scottish authorities to consider the points that he raises.
We'll let the front benches change over. You didn't ask a question, so I don't know you can have a point of order. Sorry? No, but you didn't ask a question. Maybe somebody who'd asked a question would be better.